thank you very much, Patrick and Elizabeth. Very happy to be here as the other one. I don't know if I love the way this show began today in a very cosmic way. One of the first things I saw when I was looking at the news this morning was that astronomers have discovered a black hole. They say 12 billion times the size of our sun. And while that is just absolutely phenomenal and incredible, it also sort of puts us on Earth into some greater sort of sense of perspective. We really are very, very small, and we really do have a very, very limited understanding of what God is, what we really are all a part of. And I also was sort of my ears pricked up when Elizabeth, you mentioned maybe we've lived on other worlds. I think you were saying something like that we may have destroyed. In the Aetherius Society, and the only reason I mention that is because you brought it up, is actually that is what we do believe. Just to sort of give a broad brushstroke here, that we did come from a planet which we destroyed within our own solar system, known in sort of metaphysical circles as Maldek, and all that remains of Maldek is the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. But we are a part of God. Everything is a part of God. To which extent, everything is living. Everything has consciousness. We believe that the Earth is a living being, a living conscious intelligence. We believe that the Sun is a living, conscious, highly evolved intelligence, as indeed is the galaxy itself. And very much in line with what Patrick was saying, the real crisis, yes, we have a water crisis, we have many crises, but the fundamental crisis that we have on Earth is a spiritual crisis. And it's not as though there's a lack of spiritual energy. There's an abundance of spiritual energy, but we just don't use it. We've literally sort of lost our connection with the divine. We've lost our connection with spirit, with God, if you like. And in terms of how this relates to those of us in the Aetherius Society in our sort of metaphysical spiritual practice, and again, very much with what Danny was just saying, I think the word he used from the Japanese is ukshuni. Eshufuni, pardon me. And I should know because my wife is Japanese, but my knowledge of the language is very poor. But in that sense, everything is interconnected. And with very much the Swami's Vedanta philosophy, there are devic forces. There are the nature spirits, and in terms of the crises that we have, the environmental crises that we're going through, and particularly here in Southern California, the drought, the nature forces are in a way the result of our wrong thought and action. We've disassociated ourselves from the whole, from the oneness, and with the extremely sort of negative thoughts and actions that our society, our collective human society, has fallen into, that energy, that vibration has gone out. We affect it all the time in the mind belt with our thoughts and the results of those thoughts through our actions. And this goes literally to the devic forces, the nature kingdom, and they, as a result, or rather we reap what we sow. And what we're putting out mentally, spiritually, psychically, emotionally is so troubled, is so far from the ideal of how it would be, how it should be, when we remember our own innate divine connection with all life. And as a result, we have the environmental crises that we have. And yes, we need to obviously look at very practical ways of resolving those. But most of all, again, just as Patrick was saying, we need to realign, we need to remember who and what we really are. I mean, it was well summed up, I believe, well, I heard it from Deepak Chopra. But we're not spiritual beings. We're not human beings. We're not human beings having occasional spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having occasional human experiences. And so specifically, in the Aetherius Society, and just as you pointed out, Elizabeth, that we're not 80% water, so too is the surface of this earth. So the Mother Earth is predominantly, her surface is water. So we feel it's very necessary to have a very deep, profound, metaphysical, spiritual connection with water. And just as we have what again the yogis, the Hindus would refer to as chakras, in Western technology, psychic centers through which energy flows, through which subtle psychic energy forces flow, so too does the Mother Earth as a living being. And again, through how we have totally taken, or I say totally, the vast majority, certainly Western man, far less so indigenous man, but Western man has so taken this earth and her resources totally for granted, without any thought of what we owe to this earth for giving us this home in this vast cosmos, to go through our experience, to go on this wonderful journey we're all on, all of creation is on, in going back to God, or the source from which all life came. And so one of the ways that we are active in the Aetherius Society is making a token gesture, using prayer, fundamentally using prayer, and giving this prayer back to the Mother Earth in a very practical way. I mean, it actually involves physical apparatus of giving energy back to the Mother Earth through her psychic centers as just a tiny token of thankfulness to the Logos, the living being intelligence of this earth, on behalf of mankind, a way of saying thank you. And is our understanding, again in a very sort of metaphysical sense, that this in its own way, however small, is nonetheless a karmic token that is helping to bring a balance, a greater environmental balance to the physical world, if you like. And other than that, yes, we're very active. Well, the main thing we use is prayer. Spiritual energy, invoking spiritual energy through prayer, and giving it out through healing to another individual, giving it out to the world as a whole. Our world is sick in so many different ways, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically. So sending out prayer energy to uplift and inspire our world. And to the Divic forces themselves, offering prayer to the Divas when there are major natural disasters, particularly sort of things like hurricanes. There's a Divic force within that hurricane, so we send very concentrated, pre-collected prayer energy to these situations, to the divas of these storms. And we've been doing this for over 40 years. I mean, we're relatively young as a spiritual organization, but we have seen what can only be termed as miraculous results through the intense, concentrated use of prayer sent to the Divic forces, which bring about our storms and so many other natural disasters. I could say a lot more, but I think that's probably...
Thank you, Paul. And I know about the Aetherius Society from all of the connection to nature, the hiking, the peace pilgrimages to the local mountaintops. So I remember getting up on top of the mountain and praying with so many different faiths, and it's very practical, very close to nature. Thank you. And finally, our guest, Swami Atmatattvananda, who represents the Vedanta Society of Southern California and the Ramakrishna Order of India, and and a very special connection to this Parliament of World's Religions event at Loyola Marymount, because the founder of the order was at the first Parliament of World's Religions. Swami Atmatattvananda, welcome.
First, a note from our sponsor. God is our sponsor. this wonderful event on March 8th, which is available to everyone living in Southern California and the rest of you, as you can be inspired by it. I want you to write this down. You need to know this. SEEDS, SEEDS, 2015 dot Eventbrite, EVENTBRITE.com. You have a few more days to hustle on, get on your camel and come on in. That's incredible. Seeds of Peace, Honoring Water, Source of Light. Huge dignitary, wonderful people. Marianne Williamson, one of the greatest theologian philosophers in the country today. Two priests that are eco-sensitive, eco-ministry. It's a huge thing. Seeds, 2015.eventbrite.com. Now let me have a little fun with what little time you may want to offer me. Like the cougar's breath, the hot day dawns, the stream runs clear like a rawhide thong. Past the screaming geese, the mallets fly, on wings of fear down a copper sky. Great Spirit, here we perish soon. Send the rain cloud to veil the moon. In India, they see God as an ocean. Literally, they see in the rise and fall of the waves the inspiration of God in his aspect of Lord of the universe, Lord of nature. But ocean also is a symbol of infinity, of the living water. You remember how Jesus said to the woman of the well that the water that he gave her shall be in you, a well of water springing up into everlasting life. In India, they feel that God, whom they call Brahman, there's nothing outside Brahman, nothing at all. All this is he. I'm looking at you. What am I seeing? In reality, God, God, God everywhere. He's in the universe. He himself is this universe and beyond. In the New Testament, we have the words that we live by. In him we live, move, and have our being. The idea is God is immanent in the universe, the very essence, the heart, the soul of things. You and I are little points, little channels, little expressions, all living inside that infinite ocean of existence, knowledge, and bliss. We are all living in that ocean of Brahman, that ocean of God, all the time. So, my friends, what we're going to do about it, the East, we offer those insights to the grand synthesis of the spiritual experience of the world, emphasizes inwardness, emphasizes inner prayer. The mystics of Europe, and incidentally, we think all mystics speak the same language, come from the same country. St. Martin of Tours said that in 300-something, starts within. We love God because he loved us. He loved us so much that he gave his son to us. So it all starts with meditation. What's meditation? Prayer is talking to God, meditation listening to God. Silence, opening one's heart to invite the divine presence as love and light. And then we go out in the world. Simple as that. We must. It's his creation. We're his creation. Jesus said, I am the vine, and ye are the branches. The great gardener. So it behooves us to see water as sacred. Every drop is sacred. And our very dependence, sustainability on the earth depends upon our getting our act together and cooperating. So perhaps that's enough to say at this point. Maybe we could have some spiritual Wimbledon here. A little tennis.
Well, one of the things that I remember from the Upanishads, the scriptures of India.
The breath of God, as Elizabeth was saying earlier.
Yes, the breath of God, the teachings at the feet of those who know God. They say the relationship between the soul, which they call Atman, and God, which they call Brahman, the relationship